Now that all for transportation has passed, we need more than ever a leader who doesn't just ask how to spend that money wisely, but also asks how do we maximize every single dollar to stretch it as far as it can possibly go. Well, what if I shared with you there's a way that we could build roads here in Tampa for less than it costs us currently, that last longer than they currently do, and even better yet, are good for the environment. I want to introduce you to Toby McCartney from MacRebur, who has invented a system for doing just that. I am stoked that we have reconnected again, Toby. We've known each other for, I don't know, well over 10 years. And
many more.
Yeah, to see the evolution of what's become of you is pretty impressive. So, MacRebur, this was not even a thought in your mind, I think, when I first met you. Tell me what MacRebur is. Share this with, give me your 30-second pitch.
Yeah, so MacRebur, what we do is we take waste plastics. These are waste plastics that are destined for landfill or incineration. Mm-hmm. We process them, and then we use them to replace part of the bitumen in a road mix, in an asphalt mix. And it's as simple as that. We take hydrocarbons, we replace them for hydrocarbons. Easy.
Sounds pretty simple. So share with me the history about this thing, because how this came to life, I think, is so cool with Richard Branson.
Yeah, so, well, it all started back with actually my little girls' school assembly. So well before the Richard Branson pitch to Rich, my little girls' school assembly, and it was based around what lives in our oceans. And she had done a little bit of Google research. She was just 6 back then.
Yeah.
And the Google research basically showed that, but the teacher asked them what lives in our oceans. And one little girl put her hand up and she said, well, fish. And someone else said whales and dolphins. Anyway, my little girl said plastics. And it was in that moment, the teacher sort of asked, well, are you sure plastics are in our oceans? The research that my little girl had done showed that actually by the time my little girl is my age, so just over 40 now, it's expected that there'll be more plastics in our oceans than fish themselves. And I don't know if something happens to us as we get to parents, but I had one of those moments where I thought, I just don't want her living in a world where actually that is the case. That's the truth. And so I realized I wanted to do something about it, and I spoke to my wife, and we talked about what we can do with our household plastic.
So that was the birth of it. Yeah.
That was the birth of it. Yeah, that was the start of it.
But then
so I had this crazy idea. I've been very lucky with my career, and I've managed to travel out to India. And I remembered something that they were doing in India. So some of the people they were employing as a picker.
Yeah.
And a picker's job is to go to landfill. They pick out various different products and they recycle them.
That was in your explainer video, wasn't it?
That is in the explainer video.
In fact, you know what? Let me do this. Let me cut to the explainer video so people can see exactly what MacRebur is. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about how it applies here to Tampa and what life is like having Richard Branson as a business partner. That's got to be cool.
Yeah, give it a go.
This story begins in India. Toby, co-founder of MacRebur, learned firsthand what it's like to be a picker whilst in Mumbai. A picker's job involves sorting plastic bottles, bags and cartons from the mountains of rubbish. These are then sold on to companies and later recycled into other products. When Toby returned home, his 2 friends, Nick, a waste expert who works for the council, and Gordon, a self-employed construction engineer, were eager to hear more. They imagined one simple, clever invention that could solve 3 world challenges. Find a use for the millions of tons of waste plastic that sits in our landfill sites, reduce the billions spent on creating new roads and pothole repair, and make our roads stronger and longer lasting. MacRebur was born with a goal to tackle these challenges. And after extensive testing, MacRebur found a way to mix waste plastic with bitumen to produce a longer lasting, stronger, cheaper road surface, outperforming regular British standard asphalt by 60%. They have a UK and European patent on their magic formula and have gained the support of the Scottish Secretary, who has agreed to help pave a way forward. Please visit our website to find out more about how MacRebur can bring their invention to the roads you drive on.
So that's MacRebur. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that video is what won the Pitches to Riches? What was it called?
It's Pitch to Rich.
Pitch
yeah.
to Rich.
So this is the Virgin Voon competition.
Okay.
Every couple of years, Sir Richard Branson has a competition. And that
Do you guys by law have to call him Sir Richard Branson in the UK?
Well, actually, I realised my development in business. I used to call him Sir Richard Branson, and now that I've got to spend time with him, I now call him Richard. So I feel great.
Cool. Anyway, so he had a contest where you could win a crap ton of money and get his endorsements and basically launch a company, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the X Factor for business.
Very cool.
And
man.
20,000 businesses entered this same competition.
Jeez.
Just turns out, well, we won it.
You won it, man. That's
That's
incredible. So let's talk numbers here. So is this type of new road, is it more durable than traditional roads, or is it the same, or is it less?
Yeah, so it is more durable.
How much?
So we only have lab test results, really. We haven't got 20 years of having roads down.
Yeah.
The longest road that's been down is now coming up to 3 years. So we're making claims like it will last 10 times longer or 20 times longer. I can give a case study, though. So there's a road that's not far from here. It was one of the first roads that we put down. It went down about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Onto a road that they were resurfacing every 4 to 6 months. It's still down today. There is no problems with it.
So, by the way, just the Tampanians or the Tampanos or the Tampania who are watching this right now are sitting there going, replacing a road every 4 to... Because we always complain about how in Tampa we have massive potholes and our roads are falling apart, but we don't have to replace them every 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, you've got great weather, though. Where I am in Scotland, it's we have all conditions.
Yeah.
Today is the first day that we've had this year with a bit of sun. So it's
your one sunny day.
Skin, yeah. Our one summer's day.
Yeah.
But usually we get a lot of rainfall, and then that rain is stored in little tiny air pockets within the asphalt. And then the next morning it freezes, and as that rain expands, then we get cracks in the road, and sure enough, we get potholes.
So is your road is your road capable of having potholes and cracks? Does it eventually break down, or what have you seen so far?
As soon as you start to see cracks in the road, just a few weeks later, really, you get potholes.
Yeah.
So there's that side. That's the downside to like colder weather. Yeah. But the hotter conditions.
But in a MacRebur road, is that the same thing? Do you see the cracks and potholes?
So if you imagine what we're doing is replacing bitumen with polymers, and the great thing about plastics, about polymers, is that you can form them into anything, and the reason for that is because they basically gel together. They've got many polymer bonds, and they bond together.
I'm just nodding my head like I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, effectively what we do is where we normally get cracks because the bitumen freezes or the water in bitumen it then expands and cracks. Well, with our products, we allow that expansion. As that water freezes, it can expand, and then it goes back together because the polymer bonds are so good. So we reduce the cracking, reduce the potholes.
Wow. Cost. What's the cost?
So we have different products. That's for cold weather. We also have a hot weather product, so it'd be great for Tampa.
That was my next question. Was like maybe here it would just melt. No?
Yeah. Well, if you have a cup of bitumen and then you have a cup of MR6 and you put that out in the heat that you get in Tampa, the bitumen will melt at around about 60 to 70 degrees.
By the way, that's 60 to 70 degrees Celsius for us Americans that are watching.
Very British.
Yeah, which would be about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe. I'm guessing double it there. No, about 150. About 150 Fahrenheit. Degrees. Yeah.
Pretty hot.
Very hot.
But not as hot as if you take MR6, one of our products, and you put that out in the heat. Then that's about 120 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is with regards to Fahrenheit.
That would be about 250 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly.
Right.
Very hot. It's not that hot in Tampa.
You imagine in a bus lane or where you've got heavy vehicles driving on that hot bitumen that's melting, you get rutting. You see sometimes in the roads you get those ruts where the tyres have been. Well, when that gets to more than 4 millimeters, you get potholes. Whereas with our roads, we reduce the rutting, so there's no rutting. It's down at 0.04 millimeters compared to 4 millimeters.
Wow.
So we reduce that rutting, reduce those potholes.
This is so cool. So durability, it sounds to be more durable. From an environmental impact, it's way better. We don't even need to talk about that. If you're recovering plastics and turning it into roads, that's just genius. Cost per mile for production. What are we talking about there?
So everything in the construction world is measured in tonnage. To give you an idea, so our two enhanced products, the two that we were just talking about there, they are half the price of the cost of a polymer modified bitumen. So our asphalt manufacturers are already producing plastics, brand new plastics, to put into their bitumen, and then they mix it in, homogenize it in. So our waste plastics, because we're taking a source that has no value, put it into a process, and it goes against a polymer modified bitumen, we cost half the cost of the bitumen that they're providing in. Now, so we have another product that is just, it's not an enhanced product, but it just goes into the road to create a cheaper road structure. So it's always cheaper to manufacture with our products in them.
Interesting. So now, obviously, the reason I wanted you to do this interview is because as a potential as a candidate for mayor and potentially the next mayor, I'm looking for alternative solutions in all aspects of transit, not just like buses and pedestrian and bikeability and stuff, but also in terms of the roads, in terms of rebuilding these. We, like currently right now, our budget only allows us to replace our roads like every 75 years. It's insane. Now we've just got a tax referendum that's going to help that and reduce that. But I love the idea of being able to have a road last far longer than it normally could and do it for less. In terms of the feasibility of having you guys build these roads here in Tampa, is that a doable thing? Do you have to produce them out in the UK and then ship them in, and then we're going to have a lot of tariffs? Or can the technology be developed here to where we can produce them and build them here?
Yeah, the technology is already there. We're already in New York. We're out in San Diego. We're up in Nebraska. Wherever we go, we use local waste for local roads. So the cost saving, coming back to the cost savings, so we're just talking about the manufacture. But if you think about your local authorities there, they have a huge landfill tax bill. So when they send their waste polymers into landfill, the polymers that we can use on the roads in Tampa, it's costing them a fortune in that landfill tax bill. And it costs them a fortune when that road starts to degrade and they need maintenance of those roads. Our roads last longer. We're going to use up the waste plastic from Tampa. We send over our machines into Tampa so you could have our machines in Tampa that would actually source or be able to process all the plastics from Tampa Bay that would then go out across Florida, and you would only need one set of machinery to do that. Awesome. And you're forming a new way of recycling in Tampa Bay.
And creating new jobs, I would assume. It could be another job market as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Toby, this is cool. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send everybody I can to your website to check that out. I'm going to put that in the comments below in the video, and I'll make sure they have all the contacts. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it's a sunny day in Scotland, so for you to stay indoors and get on this, I do not take that
we burn very easily.
You need to go out and get that red tan that you Scots love to get when it's sunny. So, man, thanks so much. Yeah, it's good catching up with you too, my friend. Let's reconnect next time I'm in London.
If we could vote Topher, then we would definitely vote for Topher Mayor.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Take care.
All the best. Bye-bye.